All right, 40 Days Through the Bible, day 23. This was Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon, and Lamentations. And there wasn't a particular verse that stuck out to me this time, but more it was just thinking about Solomon's life as a whole. This is something I've been working through a lot recently, and just kind of coming down to this question of like, should Solomon be a role model for you if you are a Christian? A lot of us just by default, like we read Proverbs, we know the story, we know like Solomon was the wisest man who ever lived. God asked him, for any wish, that said that he would fulfill any wish. And Solomon said, give me wisdom to govern this great people of yours. And so God gave him wisdom. He made him the smartest man the wisest man, I should say, who ever lived. And a lot of us look at that and we, one, assume that Solomon asked for the right thing, and two, we assume that Solomon was is a good role model for us. Like we read Proverbs, a lot of people haven't even read the whole Bible, but they for sure read the book of Proverbs, right? And what's been going through the back of my mind is just this thing of like, was Solomon actually a good role model though? Because Solomon did not stay faithful to the Lord throughout his life. And if you read the book of Ecclesiastes, most of that is like complete garbage. Like it's not Solomon saying things that are true. It's Solomon coming to the end of human wisdom and the end of human understanding without God and without a relationship with God, right? And so a lot of it is wrong. And when I look at Solomon's life, the thing that I see is that Solomon clearly saw the facts of the situation, right? When God came to him and said, hey, I'll give you whatever you ask, he clearly saw the facts of the situation. And so he knew, I'm unable to govern this people that you've given me. But he misdefined what the real problem was, right? So he thought the problem of why he couldn't govern the people was because he didn't know enough. He thought he wasn't wise enough. And so he asked for wisdom. And something that I tell people all the time is that if you misdefine the problem, you misapply the solution. So Solomon's solution to the problem of I can't do what you've called me to do is, but if you give me wisdom so that I know the right thing to do, then I'll be able to do it, right? And we don't question him as a role model because we all think that same way, right? We think that the solution to whatever the problem of walking in identity, we think the solution is if I just knew what to do, if I knew the right thing to do, then I would do it. And so we pray for wisdom, right? But when you look at Solomon's life, he was the wisest man who ever lived. Like if anyone ever knew what the right thing to do was in every situation, it was Solomon, right? He had like God-given wisdom, wiser than any man who has ever lived. He always knew the right thing, and yet he failed because he misdefined the problem. Walking in identity and walking out the calling that God has for you, the real problem that you're going to have with that is not that you won't know what to do, it's that you won't be willing to make yourself do it. Right? And so many of us are praying for wisdom and we're praying for God to show us what we need to do and to give us the next step and whatever, because we think if I just knew what to do, I would do it. But that is 1000% not the case for human nature. You know what to do all the time and you don't do it. You know you should eat less sugar and you don't do it. You know you should work out more and you don't do it. You know you should be more patient and kind. All these things. The problem is not whether we know or don't know what the right thing to do is. The problem is that we are unwilling to make ourselves do it. We're unwilling to die to ourselves. We don't have a steadfast heart to choose what God says is the right thing over what we want in the moment. And this is blatantly obvious in Solomon's life. And so, yeah, it just that whole thing is I could talk about this for hours, but that's kind of encapsulates everything that I'm looking at right now. Is like Solomon's solution is, God, just give me wisdom, and so I'll know what to do, and then I'll do it, because the real problem is I just don't know what to do. And so many of us think that he's a great role model because we view the problem the same way. But I think that's a misdefining of the actual problem. The problem is not that we don't know what to do. The problem is that we can't make ourselves be willing to do it, right? And so if you misdefine the problem, you misapply the solution. And yeah. So just I don't know if Solomon's that great of a role model, honestly. This is probably gonna piss some people off. But yeah, there you go. That's all I've got for this one. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.